Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we are down here at a rather windy, as we said, lake yard, courtesy of the guys at Lagoon Marine, to have a look at this beautiful Boston Whaler 285 Conquest. These are built in the US obviously, but they are really solid, very rugged, full on sports fishing boats, but also with some really nice accommodation. So obviously externally you can see beautiful stainless steel anchor handling gear here. We'll have a look on deck, but you can also notice that the whole deck is covered with this sort of soft synthetic teak, bit of non-grip on the top there, massive windscreen. Right up top is the radar, so it's a quantum ray marine radar, and you can see obviously aerial and a lot of grab handles and bits and pieces around. So decent side decks as well. But I say we will have a look around the outside. I'm going to jump on board. So at the moment you can see she's set up for social space. So these 3 units here will then fold back out the way and turn it very much into a fish fighting cockpit. And externally here we have 2 Yamaha 250s. So she's going to be pretty quick, and you can see again that sort of synthetic flexi teak around the outside. But let's go and have a look on board. The first thing that grabs you when you come on board is these nice little cutaways either side to enable you to come on and off the decks, and a really substantial fishing rod holder come grab handle, so it's really easy to get on board like so. We'll take a step back up into the cockpit here and give you an understanding of what that deck space looks like with the seats out. There's a table that lives below that you can drop into the footprint, into the foot down here, to give yourself some external dining space. But quite simply, if you want to get rid of these seats, they just fold up out the way like so. Same with this one, lift it up, fold it up with your spare knee like so, and exactly the same with this one. So we'll lift that little cover up, he says, push it away on my knee, and there you go. So now we have, if I just step over here, look, you can see slightly better, loads and loads of cockpit space, rod holders absolutely everywhere. There's a few up here, another one up over there, and for the sake of it there is more flexi teak style down here, and then bathing ladder over there. Now under the floor here you'll notice there's lots and lots of lockers. So as an example, these can be just general storage lockers, or because they're plugged in the bottom you can have them as bait wells if you want to. So they go quite a long way forward, but you'll notice down there's a plug, so you can either have it as draining or you can fill it up with water and have it as a bait well. But obviously you're going to take the plug out, you've got to be careful because it's probably below the water line. And if you want to fill those tanks up, there is your bait well tap. And equally you'll notice up here is another locker. So I think it's currently, there you go, yeah, full of fenders. So another place to keep live fish. And then there's another locker over there which is exactly the same. And there's a big locker down here, sort of lazarette really, that stores pumps and the batteries and the like, and the water and fuel tanks. And then there's the table, actually, so I was wrong, there's a table in the cockpit, but there's also a separate table for out here. And quite simply you can see there's a big run of batteries down here. These are probably domestics I'd imagine, and those 2 batteries at the back will be for engine starters. And then there's water pumps, fuel separators over there, and a few other bits and pieces. Let's drop that back down. Okay. Very stable. Everything on this boat is very solid, very well made. So actually let's go and have a quick wander around the decks whilst it's not, let's go this way while it's not too windy. And actually before we go around, I don't know if you can even see that, but this is effectively plastic, but I think they call it plexiglass. So it's less plastic and a lot more rigid, so it doesn't crinkle and fade colour like the other stuff does. So side decks, pretty straightforward. All the way around the side decks and around the windscreen covers here, you've got that plexiglass again. Lovely grab handle up here. Do excuse the wind. That shows us that Ray Marine quantum radar. Decent sized walkway all the way around here. Takes us up to the anchor locker. There's a quick anchor winch. And down here, pretty standard anchor locker with a remote. As we saw there, it looks like that there potentially is some cushioning that fits in here. Massive windscreen, absolutely massive windscreen with some really decent looking wipers on there. So that's the foredeck area. Another grab handle down this side, and again a really good handle to enable you to swing back round into the cockpit. And just while we're still in the cockpit, a couple of extra storage units down here. That one there is giving you the diesel tank for the diesel warm air heating, which on a day like today is a real bonus. And then in here, place to keep all your fishing tackle, fly lines, anything like that. So you'll notice there's one step up here, takes you into the cockpit area. First thing you see on the right hand side here is a drinks holder and then a freshwater sink. And on the other side is again one of those sort of push me pull you sleeping areas or light lounging areas. So as you can sit down that way facing astern, you can sit this way facing forward. This whole seat backrest slides, as you can see on this runner here, and this seat section here lifts out. So effectively you could sit there, you have two people sitting there with their legs in the middle, or you can just have it as a big, really nice lounging area. Great that there's grab handles all the way around here. And on the other side we have the raised helm seat. Again, another storage locker underneath there. This whole seat slides backwards and forwards, and as you would expect, as usual, a bolster, but really nice seat with lovely chunky armrests. They move up and down so you can move them out of the way, and look at that, all stainless, lovely. That obviously, if you're in the helm seat, leads you to the helm station. Pretty standard on these boats, you've got that knurled wheel to turn the wheel around. Engine, throttle levers and gear selectors on the side there. Down here we have the trim tabs, cup holders, usual switches, and then the Ray Marine hybrid touch GPS system, which will then overlay with the radar, and then instrument gauges, fuel gauges, tachos, rev counters, and VHF radio. Comes up the top here. As I mentioned, it comes with warm air heating. It's really nice. They've actually ducted the vents up to the windscreen here, so if you are sitting in this rather comfy looking helm seat, that's your view forward with those fantastic wipers, and again the warm air will stop the wipers, stop the screen misting up. So a little vent here, I'm guessing, because I don't know, but I'm guessing this is hydraulically opened to get some ventilation through, but obviously it shuts really sternly so you don't get any water coming aboard. So that is the, actually there's a couple of other bits down here. There's another little warm air vent down there, a couple of cup holders, and quite a lot of 12 volt sockets down here. A couple of them there, and then there's another one over there, look. So that is the sort of cockpit and helm station. So let's go and have a look forwards. A nice big perspex sliding door that gives us really good access straight down into this, surprisingly deep actually, because it's not a particularly high superstructure, but there's a big step down. So let's go and have a look. The first thing you notice down here is the little dinette. I say little dinette, it's actually quite big, and there's decent seated headroom all the way around. There's standing headroom down here as well. So I don't know where you can see that, but good decent headroom down here. This table then quite nicely folds back on itself to give you decent dining, and also, as you would expect, it folds or drops down and then turns this entire area here into a decent sized double berth. So I'll drop a picture in there so you can see what that looks like. And then under this run of seating on both sides, there are very large storage bins. There's also access to this locker down here to the bow thruster, and there's the isolator switch for the bow thruster. And you'll notice down here another one of the vents for the diesel warm air heating system. Really decent sized skylight up there so you get lots of light in, and then fishing rod holders over here. But hop in here for a sec. You'll notice that then there's storage runs down both sides. If I sit at the head of the table, you can then see TV over there, there's some coat hooks, galley over on the side there, and you'll also spot underneath the cockpit sole is a double berth, and their heads on the starboard side there. So let's go and have a look. There's decent sized heads, so there is standing headroom in here, which is really neat. Pretty conventional electric vacuum flush loo. There's a storage cupboard underneath there. Stainless sink with mixer, pull-out shower, mixer tap, as you would have expected. Opening window there, and it's quite nice here actually. There's a little hatch here. So this is the door. So if I pull this door to, you'll see you then gain access to the back of the dashboard, which is really handy if you want to add something or check on the wiring. Let's close that one up. And then there's a standard little shelf in there for bits and pieces. So that is the heads. The mirror on the back of the door there. So if I then spin us around here, we've got the galley, electric induction hob, electric mains driven microwave, opening port light with the sun streaming through, and down here there's some additional storage for cups and bits and pieces, fusion stereo head, and again same raft of sort of storage running all the way around the back there. Really nice Corian worktop, moulded in sink again with pull out shower tap, and then in here we have the 240 switchgear and 12 volt switches. So 240 that side, 12 volt on this side. Take a little step back, and then under the cockpit sole, as we mentioned, behind the steps here, we have the double berth area. So as you can see, it's quite a decent size. Runs right the way from side to side. Limited obviously on headroom. There is a lift up section here that takes you right up to this opening port light here, and then there's quite a decent size wardrobe in there. Storage on the top over there, and then there's storage running all the way underneath there. But it is quite nice because normally these cut off here, but on this one, because they've got these open steps, it actually makes it a lot more brighter underneath there than you would expect. Oh, and of course, mustn't forget the fridge. So there you go. That is a Boston Whaler 285. Really solid, really rugged boat, and with these screens in, I mean, you can hardly see that there's a screen there, but with the screens in and that zip down on a very cold and windy day today, it really is surprisingly snug in here. So thank you to the guys at Blue Lagoon Marine. Do hope you've enjoyed that tour. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time round. Thanks for watching.